Hari Om, Dr. Pushpaji.
हरिओम जी.
Hari Om ji. Hari Om. We'll start in a couple of minutes. If anything needs to be asked, you are most welcome, or we'll just wait. Ji.
So we were talking about free will
Yes. So,
and the five causes.
Ji, Ji.
So, so what is the conclusion?
What is the conclusion?
Since we have some limited free will,
So
I'd
there
like
is something, fate can decide on the circumstances on the outside. They can decide on a lot of circumstances. If you look at life also, everybody doesn't start on the same plate. Some people are born rich, some people are born poor, some people have an advantage, sometimes genetic advantage, physical advantage, economical advantage, emotional advantage. So it is something, these are all factors which are governed by some things which are not in human hands. Uh, but Hari Om, yes, you want to say something, or because there's a lot of static, I'm just muting you. When you want to speak, you can probably again unmute Vasudevanji.
okay.
Yeah. So yes, so
No, Srinivas ji was saying yesterday that's also governed by your own karma or something like that.
there's a tug of war going on between destiny and fate. Fate has its nature, like Prakriti wants to establish its control over a human being. So like that, Daiva of an individual, that is trying to establish its supremacy. It is by sadhana that you can actually change certain things. Fate may have something at store, but again, what is changed? Destiny also. Like I say, Yantrini Chale Yantram, the driver, the Kshetrajna, he is the one. So he is still at play. All human beings we can do is we can probably connect with divinity and try to alter the fate that is in hand. That sometimes fate cannot be changed, fate, but one need not surrender to fate that this is my fate, and then there is no role of karma at all. So fate is one of the five factors which defines the destiny of an individual. Even if a person is born on a very perfect home with good support, all emotional, physical, and yet we sometimes see what happened. Why did this person still go away? He does not utilize the other four factors. So they are the pancha factors, five factors. So many tendencies are there where people write fate as everything and surrender to fate. That is something we need not decide. But destiny, is it in human hands or is it in divine hands? Or is it different? Whether it is indifferent in human hand or divine hand, does it make much of a difference? That's a different thing. We have the opportunity to
So
alter
can you say
for.
these five things?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Five we cannot change.
Five. No, in five we have a room. No, we have room to change. We can change our actions. We can
हरिओम.
change. Hariom. Hariom.
Our place and time we cannot change. No, can we
Yeah.
change?
No,
He
we
says
cannot.
doer, the place doer, our indriyas,
See, there
our
is something
efforts.
called paristhiti. Desha Kala is not in our hand, but the
Hmm.
paristhiti is in our hands. A man is walking on the road. A monkey throws bananas on him. He get from a tree. This man, same thing has happened. Same place, same thing has happened at one time. Another man has experienced the same experience. But one has taken offense to that monkey and has started using abusive words at the monkey and has got irritated and is carrying that irritation with that individual. There is other who is laughing and saying, monkey has thrown at me. If you see the difference in the perspective, means what we can say, situation has changed completely where this person has found something humorous and is still gone ahead. The other person is now carrying what we can say a kind of rajasic impulse which has arisen inside of him, and he is now under that force. As long as that rajasic force is there, he is going to get irritated. If there is too much rajas, he might even go start hunting for monkeys throughout his life because they threw bananas at him.
So the two different people. The doer is different.
Yeah. The karta bhav, no? Who is the karta? If you allow the divine to be the karta, they said, प्रभु को नियम बदलते देखा है. Things can change, unbelievable things. Why they say mukam karoti vachalam, pangum langayate girim. Fate has made that person muka or person limp. Yat krupatam ham mandi. So karta is doer and doer is not individual. It is the divine. Sri Aurobindo says even God cannot work. Even God cannot work unless sanction is given. Krishna cannot work on Arjuna until Arjuna gives the sanction. Till Arjuna said, Shishyasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapannam. Krishna could not even start teaching the Gita to his own beloved dear Arjuna because the wall of Ahankar was there. That Ahankar makes the grace come at our door and walk away. So probably Karta must be the divine only. We must leave our Ahankar and become an instrument and become a part of the Leela. Otherwise we are trapped in Maya. And this is the entire circle. Manushya goes Punarapi Janama, Punarapi Marana. So many times. Questions keep coming in our life which are the same. Only like you said, Desha will change, Kala will change. But the Paristhiti remains the same because the Karta is the same individual, it is the same Ahankar of the individual that is doing the same thing. So you have rightly identified, Vasudevanji. The Karta makes a difference. Along with the Karta, the efforts. I remember my friend's mother being diagnosed with cancer. Doctors have told there is no scope, there is no hope for her. And all the treatments were completed. And now there was no way of her becoming better. They said you have few months to live. You can choose to allow us to experiment with some more drugs, or you have had enough, we don't want to trouble you, you can go home and spend some time with family. Now this mother, she was someone who did not want to go because her children are just not yet finished school only. One is in 10th and other is in 12th, and she was like, no, I will go home. And she decided she was going to not, she did not give she said, no, I will not die till my children finish the school. And both the sons even now fondly recollect her with so much love, and let's see, she experienced so much pain for us. She did not, she waited for the youngest son also to complete. We saw all the difficulties she was going through. So here we see some kind of yatna, the spirit force inside of the person. Like the case of Dashrath Manji we saw, that laborer. It was suprahuman effort. Maybe he allowed the divine to become the Karta. He became an instrument of the divine. Krishna also is asking Arjuna to not surrender to the fate that has come in front of him, where he has to fight his own people, where he has to face his own, his own people. It is something so difficult to fight. The champion warrior who's got everything with him, all the skill, all the might, but now he is facing something which he cannot, and he is resigning. This is a lost war according to him. I win it, I'm going to lose. Even if I lose it, I'm going to definitely lose people because both sides are my own people. So now here, if Arjuna surrendered to fate, we know what would have happened. That is what Krishna is saying. Become the nimitta matra, because because ultimately what is that in our life, our destiny is written only because of our actions that go ahead. And for actions, there are so many factors. But if we are driving our actions with our own ahankar, it is like a child who does not know to drive a car, and he is trying to drive a car, who's never driven a car before. What's going to happen? It's going to be horrendous. It might be an accident, either injure the driver or somebody else. So that is the problem of ahankar. People make dreams made of ahankar. People build so many bungalows of ahankar, and then they come crashing down. They don't understand. Right in front of our factory, there is a plot which has been vacant for so many years. So many years. That was the plot of a very affluent person. Now both the children are fighting each other in court cases, because of which no development is taking place, and that court case has been going on for nearly 20 years, 25 years. Earlier at least they would use it for some agricultural work. Now that work also has stopped because the case has become, and bitterness, the full family has separated. The person who was giving the plot or who brought the plot felt he was doing great for his children. He thought he is doing something nice. But now look what has happened. That has become the source of a great divide in his own family. Did he imagine that this would happen? Never. Are they so desperate in need for money that they really needed it? No, actually both are very, very affluent. If they lost it, it would have not. Like Duryodhana was told by Krishna. Duryodhana was told by Krishna that he could have averted this. Duryodhana also could have become a Karta of the divine. When Krishna went to him as a messenger, he went and said, Duryodhana, give away this just 5 villages to the 5 Pandavas. Small villages. Just let them uphold their dharma in those 5 villages. You become the Raja and continue. He was like, no. He even tried to chain Krishna. So yes, that is the aspect, or karta bhava. If we get it, I am the doer, the thought comes inside, that is the end of us. That is the worst situation we can get in. And the problem is Maya won't allow us to realize our mistake. That is why they say it is requirement of Krishna's grace. It is a grace to be able to see the truth, because we have eyes, but our eyes can only see what is on the outside. Only with the Jnana Chakshu we can see, and that is why they say we pray to the divine, we pray to the Guru, we pray to all the divine beings for direction, because Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya, then Chakshurun Meilitam Yena, it is for opening the inner eye. So yes, please, I think, yes, Vasudevanji. So it's a tug of war taking place every day at every minute with so many opposing forces. In that, if we are aligning with the divine force, we can probably go to our destiny faster and more peacefully, and probably even enjoy the Leela of life. There is a Leela to participate. Gopis understood that, they enjoyed every minute of their existence in Krishna's presence. Probably we can also. Yes, Ji.
Was my question answered?
That I do not know, Naji. I cannot answer your question. You only will know. And if I have not answered, I think we will still go
No, no, no,
ahead.
I don't. I'm not even sure.
Ha ha.
You know,
It is all right,
I'm
Naji. It
not
is.
sure if it was. I'm sure he must have answered it, but I
Hmm.
don't know what.
Ji. All right, Ji.
What I'm getting is we have some limited role.
Ha ha.
Even we have
Okay.
certain amount of freedom.
Yeah.
That's about it. That's what I'm getting, and
Yes,
who or not, I
yes,
don't know.
yes, Vasudevanji. But if you see, we can become heroes of Mahabharat by becoming Arjuna and functioning as Krishna's Arjuna rather than a depressed Arjuna with Arjuna's own ahankar. If we align with Krishna's, that role is unlimited. They say, no,
Okay.
Das of becoming Tulsi Das is not limitation. It is a, what we can say, manifestation of divinity. It is a great expansion of consciousness. Kabir Das, Tulsi Das.
So aligning with the higher will,
Yeah. Yes,
we
yes.
expand our
Yes,
freedom.
yes,
Okay.
yes. Absolutely, perfectly pointed. Sri Aurobindo has said,
Thank you.
to be a servant of God is good. To be a slave is better. Means just completely do as you please. He had said, Yantani chale yantram yatheshtam gadanaike. Prakashasva Swaya Shaktim Prakashet. Means bring your light, let that light manifest through me and fill my world with your light. That is the prayer of the instrument. And that's what Sri Aurobindo had also asked. I want to be your instrument. So, alright, let us begin with the invocation and we'll continue. We are starting the 15th shloka. 16th one, yes. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhe Bhavatu Me Sada Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Vasudevam Sutam Devam Kamsachanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Hari Om. So yes, we are now entering into what is the 16th shloka of this Adhyay. Anybody can quickly talk about the 5 factors, because that was one of the important aspects. Krishna talked about Tyag and Sannyas, and wherever there is no attachment to Karma Phala, you are doing it right. If there is Karma Phala, you are allowing your desires to come in, the expectations and desires take control. They can even lead to different experiences, even depression, because if it is a tamasic renunciation, which is done out of disappointment, of preference, of personal opinion, personal preferences. There is rajasic also, which is again done by different. There are 3 types as we saw. But due to personal preferences, very strong opinions, it is rajasic. Tamas is because of a kind of illusion a person is doing, what is a duty which must be done. Sometimes somebody is hurting someone in front of you, and it is in your power to stop that from happening. If some logic you tell yourself, no, we are a free country, we will allow freedom to exist. It is wrong. You are running away from your duty. A human. There is something called manav dharma. You have to rise to it. But if you are not realizing what is your duty, then you are in a state of tamas. So you'll have to come out of it. That is number 1. There's rajasic we have seen. The sattvic is whatever work. There's no higher work. There's no lower work. Sattva sees with oneness, the highest person, or there's nobody whose status is more or nobody who is less. Same way, my status also will not increase because of the outer work that I do, whether it is a higher status work or lower status work. It is duty. Duty means that only. That is ultimately the main thing. And it makes a lot of difference. That is, this is the person who is going to be. Sattvic state is the state where realization comes, activation of inner, what we can say, the Sushumna Nadi starts functioning. Your Vivek Buddhi suddenly gets, imagine getting that ability to perceive what is right and wrong in pressure situations. Most of the times emotions control and we act according to emotions, then we suffer the consequences of our actions because emotions have taken control. At that minute, if we are able to suddenly turn off the emotions and look and see this is right, the satisfaction that comes from doing a right job, well, that is the one which is sattvic. And sattvic actions are like that. Sattvic renunciation is also this way. Krishna says, see, siddhis can be got in life. How is perfection attained, or what is the consequence of an action? It's governed by 5 factors. So I just want anybody to, if you can just quickly recollect the 5 factors that were looked at. Is also very quietly shared by Krishna. In quick 2-3 shlokas, he finishes off a very big topic also.
One is the body.
Okay. Yes, the base,
Then
Sharira.
yeah, Sharira. Then is the soul.
The Atma, we can say Karta, because
Atma.
Atman is,
Karta.
Karta is outer
Karta.
doer. Who is the doer? Is it Ahankar or is it Krishna himself? Yes. Yes.
So the Shari, the Karta,
Hmm.
then the Indriya,
The efforts. The
F,
Yatna.
F,
Yatna. Yatna.
Yatna, then these various
Indriyas.
senses, the
Yes,
Indriya.
sense. Because the senses can deviate our efforts also. They can spoil all our
Yeah.
efforts as well if you allow the senses to take you direct differently. We have seen even desires coming. Intellectual desire is also a problem sometimes. Emotional desire, physical desire. These are all connected with the Indriyas, and these vasanas suddenly pull away our efforts. It's like an artist is making a beautiful painting. Somebody comes and pours black paint over it. What's going to happen? Several hours of beautiful artwork on, and it's gone. So that is the danger of the Indriyas. Yes, so that is the senses. Yes, Ji. And the fifth one?
And then the divine.
And the fate. Not divine,
Wait,
the
Fate, sorry,
fate.
the
Right.
fate.
Dave,
Yes,
Dave.
yes. So then this is like we have,
Five.
yes, the 5. And if you see in permutation combination also, we have so many outcomes possible when there are so many factors, is it not? 5 factors are there. 5, you just make permutation of combination of every moment. That is why life is so beautiful, because it cannot be predicted. There was one person in Maharashtra who was excellent Jyotish Shastri. He would predict perfectly, astrologically, everything and about weddings and people and everything. So people would go in, and he had a big fee also which he would charge, and a lot of people would throng. Now what happened is his own child's marriage he could not predict properly in spite of all of this, all the Shastra Vidya. He could not predict for his own daughter because that marriage was not successful. And they were like, what is this man? He is not knowing it, his own daughter. What is he going to predict for my daughter? Well, that's a different factor. You can get indications. Best astrologer can look at you, can and even tell you what colored juice you drank a particular day. That much is the science if you understand it. Even it's a vidya, but that is not ultimate. There is something higher than the grahas. He is the chalak of the grahas also. He is something which is divine. So ultimately, destiny we have the power if we align. I remember my mother. I was applying to so many foreign universities and I was getting rejections despite having good marks. One person actually said my degree is not valid. I was very angry. Mine is central university. You cannot say a government central university degree is not valid. Some of my other seniors also had got at placement there. My mother just told me one line, and she told it in a very simple manner. My head was what we can say kacha madka, no? They say a pot which is not yet formed. So that created such a fluctuation. She said, when individual will and divine will does not match, then trouble happens. She just told me she was reading out something. She did not specifically point out to me only. I was like, what? What God is getting angry? What is the problem for God if I follow my career choice? Why is He coming in between, and why should He have a problem with what I am doing, and why is He having a problem? And this was a very crazy experience for me where I was seeing so many hurdles which are not required to be there. Means people with lesser marks, with lesser, had cleared some exams which they had not written the exam also, they got placed. I had an argument with the representative of a particular university, and she had for one, I don't know what argument, she started trying to berate me. I said I will not tolerate this, and it went in a very horrible way, and I thought I'll never go to this university again. And so many situations were happening, and I was not understanding what is wrong. My papers go late, my application has some technical error, online application fails. Then it reaches, but it reaches one day late, so I have to go and pay extra money because it has reached one day late. All these factors, and I was not understanding, is it what is the meaning? So, but that is the problem. Maybe there was some other thing planned, and my ahankar force was not allowing me to see the signs. Okay, continuously, I was trying to fight against a force which is, it is like human effort is, if you see two forces in physics, one force is some 500 Newton, another force is just 4 Newton. Which force is going to be successful? It is the higher force, is it not? If I align this force with that force, it will increase. It will be more smooth. I'll not have to lose myself. But when I fight against it, then that is the aspect. But you have to fight against wrong also. So how do you know? Well, the Karta is the divine. Karta will give you the strength to become the Dashrath Manji also. Mountain can also be broken, but it should not be an ego desire. If he had a just individual ego, divine sometimes uses our ego also for doing the divine work. He also follows the Na Buddhi Vedam work. Sometimes he gives. I know a friend who went and settled abroad just because he had a crush on the girl. That's all. He wanted to meet this girl, has gone to this country. He said, I'll go after her. That was his entire motivation for going abroad. But around 10 years later, when I talked to him, he says, from my childhood, I have been dreaming of this field and everything. I said, what about her? And he said, no, don't talk about it. You don't understand anything. I don't want to talk to you, is what he said. Because but the factor was it drove him there, and he's now settled, and it has helped. Of course, he didn't meet that girl at all, and life changed completely. But you see, the desire of the individual was utilized by the divine. The Karta could use him. He will do very well in his field wherever he is and benefit a lot of people. So sometimes it is like God uses our desires also. But we should understand whether it is ahankar. And the best indication is when there is divine sanction. It is yaha pashyati sah pashyati. You can see that, you can experience it when you are stable in consciousness. Otherwise, you will still be on the surface level. So these are 5 elements, and they act in a same time. It's like 5 different sides. The sculptor is hitting us with a hammer and breaking all unnecessary portions from our personality. Different experiences, different emotions. Why? A beautiful, from stone, a raw stone is going to become a beautiful murti, which will then later on become a vigraha, pran pratishtha will be done, and that stone is going to become a divine deity only afterwards. It is something like that. This is how this combination of 5 factors shape a being, shape a being's outcome as well. But then there are others. I don't believe in all of this. I don't understand it. Everywhere Shraddha is there, then there's a Shraddha also. What about them? Them also it will act on it, only they will not be conscious. That is all what Krishna is saying. Next shloka. Tatraiva sati kartaram atmanam kevalam tuyaha pashyatya krita buddhitvan na sa pashyati durmatihi. But those beings who do not comprehend, due to ignorance, they cannot apprehend themselves to be the cause of actions they believe. The truth such blinded beings cannot believe. They not perceive. So they believe I am the doer. Karta is I. How can we become Karta of the entire universe? We can become Karta of a small kshetra. But again, even simple, we can say even a stock market, it is subjected to fluctuations. So many market conditions change. Everything changes. So same thing happens in our life also. Everything is sometimes very temporary also. So we can control factors which are temporary to some extent. Beyond that, what happens? But this is somebody who is full of ahankar, does not believe. We have seen earlier, Asuri Pravritti. Ishwaroham aham bhogi. I am the Ishwar, I am the real bhogi. I know to enjoy. And then that's a very sad fall of a person's ahankar. It takes that person slowly, and there's a danger also that they say there's a Chaitya Purush, or there's a divine being inside everyone, which gives us the hints. What happens if your friend, you keep telling your friend one thing again and again, and the friend never listens to you? Will you not feel like you'll have to stop now, because now what my words, they are going to fall empty? And that is exactly what happens. The inner voice also stops. People then become very horrible. Then they become the real Danavas in existence. These are the Asurs who have completely crushed the inner voice, the inner conscience. They become heartless, and then they have the same karma phala also. Heartless people cannot get what they want because they have despised selflessness, but yet in their hearts they want somebody to selflessly love them. despite being heartless. How is it possible? It is not. So that is an entire chakra which people get trapped. This is what the Maya is. We don't realize it only. So Krishna says it's okay. Those who don't understand, they will live in their ignorance. They will think they are the doers. Krishna goes on, 17th one. Yasya nahang kruto bhavo buddhir yasya na lipyate hatva api sa iman lokan na hanti na nibadhyate. He who has given up his sense of possession, he whose intelligence is not driven by passion, even if multiple people, such a being were to slay, he isn't the slayer and not bound to sin in any way. So Krishna is talking to Arjuna. Arjuna, who was worried about all the papa he is going to incur by taking part in this Dharma Yuddha. He says, if you are not driven by passion, if you are not driven by your own rajasic forces inside of you, such a person who has given up all passion, you don't have any other desire also. It's not for wealth or something, it's for upholding the Dharma. Arjuna is fighting. He is not fighting to murder his guru. He is not plotting to cunningly to deceive Pitamaha Bhishma. He is fighting because now it's the only way for him to, for the Satya to go ahead. He has to either fight or perish upholding that truth. Dharmo rakshati rakshita. He has understood that. That is why he is going to fight. So Krishna says, no, you don't have to worry about any sin also. No sin is going to be incurred. Soldiers doing their duty on the battlefront, when they kill enemies, they are not doing a sin of murder. They are upholding their duty. It is the convention of war only. It goes on. So jnanam jneyam parignata trividha karma chodana karanam karma karteti trividha karma sangraha. The knowledge, the objective senses and the knower, these three trigger the mental impulses in the doer. Then it is the doer, the instrument and the action. All works arise by the three's combined sanction. So this is it. Jnanam, Jneyam, Parignata. The one is the knowledge, one the objective senses, and the knower. All the three. The person who knows, who's using the senses, and the wisdom. It is how we say, we Google information, we get data. But how that information is going to be processed to understanding, that's the next step. And after understanding, it has to be brought into practice. Then it becomes real experience, real knowledge, what we can say. Information to get into realization, there's a big gap. Just because we read something here does not mean we have experienced it. Only when the sakshatkar comes, we can get the experience. We can read about the beautiful devas, we can chant great stutis. But in our heart, we don't feel the love. What's the use? What's the use of these stutis if you are not feeling that love? When you feel that, then you are going to be enjoying and you are going to experience a taste. Maybe darshana also will come to you. One participant got a beautiful darshana which I'll never forget in my life. To me, the experience was so beautifully written by her. I felt it was deeper than what is written in Bhagavad Gita. She described the height of Krishna, Arjuna, the position, what is happening in the Vishwarupa. She even said she got gardenia smell also. This was like even the smell she was able to see. All it was the full dresses of the actual Vishwarupa which is there in the Gita. But I was able to see it from a perspective of human perspective, more wonderful. It was something. And how did she get it? Well, she has a big history behind her. But that's a realization. That is a sakshatkar. And if that was not enough, she got a stamp, she got a golu of a Vishwarup the very next day after getting that vision. Where is she? She is not in India, she is in Dallas. How can this happen outside in such a country where the culture is not there? All of this. But no, it comes. And that person who gives her also tells her, no, I wanted to give this to you. The moment I got it, I felt it should not be at my place. So I come and give it to you. So this was for her realization. When I say, yaha pashyati saha pashyati, somebody else will say, so what? So what? It is just something. In my eyes, it is nothing. Logically, it can happen anywhere. But that's the problem of logic. That is not the jnana, the highest realization. So these three only, they govern a person. Just like that, the doer, the instrument, and the action. Means the karta, the individual. We can say here, the individual. Then next is, how is he? Is he the nimitta matra? Individual is always a nimitta matra, truth be told. Only is he a nimitta matra of ahankar or is he a nimitta matra of divinity is the question. If he is a nimitta matra of ahankar, he is under the full control of Prakriti. He is a puppet of Prakriti. If he is under the control of divine, then we can see there is a freedom. It's a freedom of an individual experience of life as well. And then the action, all three, they bring about the combined sanction. Krishna goes on, Jnanam karma cha karta cha tridhaiva guna bhedatah prochate guna sankhya ne yathavat shrunu tanyapi. As per the Sankhya, as per the great scripture, he says, Gnosis, the works and the actions mode, as written in the ancient scriptural code, all persist in nature in ways threefold. Listen to those two, as I shall unfold. So Krishna says, I'll tell you, he says, even this, even knowledge, works, the stamp of Trigunas is going to not leave us at all. Krishna has introduced it, it's probably because we'll have to become conscious and we'll have to watch this stamp everywhere. It is even in the realization also, it has a stamp. In our works also, in all our actions also. Let us see. Sarva bhuteshu yenaikam bhavam avyayam ikshate avibhaktam vibhakteshu tad jnanam vidhi satvikam. The knowledge coming from the inner eyes opening, that which perceives in all the supreme selves becoming. Behind all the divisions, those who can perceive the one indivisible, and such beings, Sattva's light is recognizable. Means that which comes from the opening of the Antachakshu, which allows you to see, you can see how the Mahavakya, Ekoham Bahusyami, that one has become many. In every one you are able to see that divinity, Vasudevam Sarvamiti, that is a very rare experience that happens only to that eye which is opened in the individual. So behind divisions, behind all the divisions, different people, different perspectives, behind everything, if you look at it on a cosmic level, what is it? We are all one only. Even physics tells the same thing. We are all seeking the light, which we were once upon a time emitting when we were part of that great star which exploded. Now we are doing sadhana, what are we seeking? We are seeking that knowledge. Amrutasya putravayam, what Amruta? How is it? Because we are made of Shara, and something happens in our bodies also. If you see, this is a cycle. This is not the first time man has tried to understand God. When we are trying, we are actually part of a big evolutionary chain that is taking place in the world. And slowly our experiences are taking, even genetic makeup is being just transferred generation after generation, and we are rising, going towards something. They say the next state of evolution is there. Homo luminous is what some people say. From Homo sapiens, we are going to become next men of light, or human beings who are going to seek that light. But this is it. The inner eyes opening can allow us to see divinity in the world. Otherwise, you cannot see the divinity in the world. The world is having no divinity. It will be the perspective of a person who has not opened his eyes, the inner eyes. Krishna goes on. 21st one. Pruthatvena tu yajnanam nana bhavan pruthak vidhan vetu sarveshu bhuteshu tad jnanam vitti rajasam. But that knowledge which perceives in all forms a division, that which in the multiplicity of life sees a separation, devoid of oneness, it sees in all creations a distinction. Knowledge of such beings is powered by Rajas's passion. But Rajas will not allow you to see oneness. Rajas will make you see everything as division. Everywhere divisions are perceived by Rajasic forces. They cannot see oneness in all existence. It creates a distinction. This is a Rajasic impulse. I can give my own example best for when I had this perspective, which was very Rajasic. I remember once I had I wrote some Upanishads in rhyme many years back. I got a record for that, and I was all some kind of very happy and excited. We can say Rajas entered into me without my knowledge, or maybe consciously I was happy about it also. So this was going on. Suddenly, one man came and gave me a big hit on my on the road only. This happened 2-3 times in life. I was not understanding what. Later on, now I can see how probably Krishna was only saying कि ज़्यादा उछल रहे हो, बैठ जाओ, अब नीचे आ जाओ. अभी तो he wanted to bring me down from that state of consciousness. But I did not understand. And I was like, what did I do wrong? Logically, I have done nothing. Why did that person hurt me when I did not? And what is the meaning? Today is my special day. Why have I got this? What is this? No, I conclude. I remember my friend was coming out of cancer only that time, and we had a nice, insightful discussion. And I told her, no, I think world is of two types. There are good people and there are bad people. This was my opinion only. And maybe Devi and Asura, these are swabhava, these are pravrutti. These are natures, but we are not going to label people. But you see, Rajas creates a division. So for me, what was the use of those Upanishads reading or writing in rhymes? Because I was not realizing it only. So here, it created a divide in my own mind. Now I can laugh about it, but that time it was not funny for me at all. Because that time the force of Rajas was inside of me. And then I was like, no, there are two types of people. People who are going to hurt you, people are not going to hurt you. And you are going to be in this. And all my own theories I was making up. That's when my teacher brought me also on the ground. It was a nice experience of what we can say getting grounded, and that is how I realized, see, the moment that Rajasic force came inside of me, I started saying division. I started saying that person is lower, I am higher, that person is like this, I am like this, people are like this. So what if Krishna is working there? Now I actually think it was Krishna only who came and gave me one hit, because Ahankar was rising. If that would not have been cut, I would have gone on a different path. I would have become a different type of what we can call pseudo-intellectual. I would be talking something and getting lost in that world only. So we need to be alert, because this is how Rajas, Tamas, Sattva keeps playing in our lives. There was something, it is very useful as well if you are able to understand what happens inside of you at what time, because more than others, it is more important to observe ourselves. We can bring about great changes as well and not become vulnerable to the attacks also of these forces. And third one is the tamas force, 22nd one. Yattu krutsna vadekasmin karye sakta mahaitukam atatvartha vadalpam cha tat tamasam udahrutam. The pseudo-knowledge gives the beings a very narrow view, for their eyes are blind and see nature to be untrue. Limited in perception, they prefer a routine of sameness, and their knowledge is limited by tamas's darkness. So a routine of sameness, not wanting to come out, perspective has become very, very narrow-minded. Such a person, they are going to see everything, their eyes are already blinded. Everything is not true, everything is false, there is no meaning of existence, there is no higher purpose, relations also. A brilliant scientist, who is excellent scientist I met at a science conference. He comes and says, you see, you and I are just product of hormonal secretions which are taking place inside of the body. I was not understanding. And then he kept on talking for 20-25 minutes. He was just talking, it's like this is all nothing, all of these are just secretions of enzymes, we experience all of this. And he has understood the truth, is what he was claiming. Next, one person got irritated and told him something, and that's all. All his realization disappeared in 1 minute the moment he received an insult. Now he didn't think that person is speaking because of the hormonal imbalance in that person. Why? What has happened? Well, that is a tamasic perspective where somewhere, maybe he is right on some other perspective, but how is he interpreting it? What is the knowledge being used for and what purpose? That is so important. One shloka of the Gita can be interpreted 100 different ways, and it has always been interpreted different ways. That is the most translated book in the world. But yet there are people who are walking towards light, people who are walking completely away from light, also using the same. It is a sopan for rising also. Some are using it as a sopan for falling also, because they are not following it with the spirit. Tamasic pravritti is preventing them from realizing. That is the problem. One person came and told to me, hijab is written in Quran, hijab is written in Rig Veda. I was very surprised, and then I thought there's no point engaging in a debate with him. I said, okay, it's for you, no, you read that sukta, chant that sukta if you want to chant, and I just walked away. Yesterday, another friend of mine, she told me that, no, I have read the Quran, even in Quran it is not written, is what she says. Because I am fighting with all the other people who come to and tell me that this is mandatory according to this scripture. And she says, I don't believe it is there in, whether it is there in Rig Veda is out of question, it is not there in this also. But you look at the tamasic pravritti, which interprets things differently, creates divide. Rajasic creates passionate divide, is out of passion. Tamas creates out of delusion. We cannot. If the eye perceives that and says banana is red on the inside, we cannot do anything. Even if you cut open that banana and show it is not red, no, this is red only, you don't understand what red is. Or I say it is a beautiful night right now, or for those in India, you can see sunlight coming in, but I cannot see. That's because of my tamasic perspective. You cannot change it, I will remain in my ignorance then. Nobody will be able to take out. Even God cannot take me out because I am here. I am saying no, this is my tamasic view. So this is a danger of human ahankar, which can sometimes prevent divine from working. Let us pray that that never happens to us and we are always available for the divine. So next, let us see 23rd sloka. Niyatam sangara hitam ragadveshatah krutam afala prepsuna karma yat tat satvikam uchyate. Any action that is performed in a manner right, from likings or aversions by remaining detached, regulated and to the fruits of works by not being attached. No such actions to be done in Sattva's light. Any action that is done in a right manner, regulated, it is done correctly and regulated. This is a very important word. We should, like Damliji was working in his guru's office that time, and he was working continuously, and that time it was the evening time, and his guru did not have too many dialogues, and he just came to him and said, Damliji, काम बंद करना भी आना चाहिए. You should learn to close the work also of the day. And that was just a simple line, but and that was his guru Shraddha was so beautiful, so wonderful, that he immediately took it as an important thing, and that was a mantra for him. That transformed him. Even now we have meetings at 12 o'clock in midnight also. Sir is 76, but some meeting, anything, legal aspect, anything aspect, the moment, every hour is the hour of God according to him. He doesn't see muhurta and all for discussions and anything like that, though he has the knowledge of it. But he says no, regulation is important. If you don't regulate, it is going to be a failure. Your own actions, our instruments also have to be taken care of. We cannot have a blunt knife. What's the use of a blunt knife? It can't cut a single vegetable. So something like that. Our sharira is our instrument. We are using our mana, we are using our buddhi. All these are sharira. So we have to do it in a regulated manner. Yama, niyama, asana, pranayam. Why are they prescribed? Because the importance of regularity is there. So a person of sattvic nature, all the actions are done in a very right manner, Krishna says. Regulatedly done, not asking any fruits, not seeking any fruits, just doing because it's right. These are the ones which are driven in Sattva's light. Yattu kame suna karma sahankarena va punaha kriyate bahulayasam tad rajasam udahrutam. But the action initiated by desire's domination, egoistically seeking a personal and passionate aspiration, which require a great strain and effort to fulfill. No such actions to be as per Rajas's will. Now, this is very interesting. Rajasic actions, they require a great strain. Sattvic actions do not require a great strain. Why? Rajasic actions are done by the individual. The entire force, everything, alpha, omega of everything is that individual only. So entire burden, entire pressure comes onto that individual only. Great strain is there. If you are doing a Rajasic work, be sure you are going to be exhausted, because you are using only your personal force. All your reserves are going to get depleted in that, because it is Rajasic. And what is the initiation? It doesn't initiate with Om. It doesn't start with the right divine syllable. It starts with I am the champion, I am the doer, this is my project, I am doing it, let the world know I am doing it. This is the direction is just driven only by ego. These are actions which are done by Rajas will, individual egos. Many times people start beautiful organizations driven by desire, but it is a Rajasic desire, it is not a highest desire of the divine. What happens? These organizations go well. When? As long as that founder is there, as long as that impulse of Rajas is there. It is very rare that that person will find another Rajasic person who will continue with the same force. But as long as that continuously, you have to keep pumping in force to keep it going. Many organizations then they don't find successes. Organizations fall apart after running also. Great plans, great dreams of individuals. Why? Because this is that individual's dream. Parents cannot force their dreams onto their children also. What happens when you force? It's going to, anything which is done in force will fall apart after a while. It is something like that. So that is why so many organizations start disintegrating, because the spirit, the founding spirit is not there. But when the spirit is right, they said Yajna Suryena Chakshu, as long as the eye burns in the fire burns in the eye of the sun, till that they say no, like jab tak Suraj Chand rahega, tab tak that name will remain. It is something like that. Look at these Ramakrishna missions. How are they functioning? Is there Ramakrishna Paramans here right now, who is going and supervising? See, I have to give pep talk. management guidance, organizational HR policies have to be according to changing times. We need to evolve. There are no such lectures taking place at all. In fact, Ramakrishna himself never started this. It was started by whom? It was started by his Shishya in his name. And this Vivek, they are also called Vivekananda Kendras. Seva Kendras are opened everywhere. And what was it? What was the time when he was such a young? He left so early. He left so early. He left this mortal world very early. But yet today also youngsters, very young as even 13, 14 or even younger, they go and get light there and they say, "Nah, I want to serve. I want to." Great, brilliant people from IITs also. They suddenly became a part of this organization, and they decide to serve. Now, who is running this organization? Who is taking? So, as long as the initiation is there. Human nature comes everywhere. Human nature is having all these vikaras also. So that will go on. But when the founding spirit is divine, the individual need not worry. And that is why we should never attach ourselves even to anything. Our own desires also, sometimes even organizational desires also are a problem. Namliji, just recently we had a meeting. Our Krishna's Better project has got quite successful among the children. Now it's growing and it's growing larger than we imagined. So Damleji said, "Ab beta bada ho raha hai. Child is growing big. Get ready. We will have to let the child go where it has to go. We may have to leave it from our hands also, so that it goes in the right direction." And then we had a decision. Then let us see if some organization is interested, a government is interested. We can share our product methodology for Krishna's Better freely to the people, because the work has to go ahead. It is more important. What is the divine will is more important than the individual, because if that is there, then ahankar is going to remain, rajasic force will be requiring, and you will be tired. End of the day, sometimes if we also feel, at the end of the day, some days we feel very tired when we have done a particular work, and then there are some days we do a lot of work and we are like, I didn't feel tired, I don't understand. Well, basically that was a very sattvic work. You can do continuously works. Sattvic works will not drain you. You feel like you're not doing. Krishna sab kaam kar rahe, Ram hamara kaam kare, hum baithe aaram. It's actually a feeling of people who are doing a lot of work also. These are not lazy people who are saying this, that we are relaxing. The meaning is they are just playing whatever minimal interference they have to do, they do that. Remaining is all autopilot mode going on. Divine is functioning. So that is the difference between a sattvic action and a rajasic action. You try that project also. Imagine an individual is, when he does the work and takes all the responsibility on his head, other people don't feel the motivation to work also, and all the energies go from that person. But when that work is given, divided among people, then it goes very, very well, because everybody is driven. When the commitment is there, then people can continuously. One as the executive from Atlanta, he a marketing executive, he took up a project on his own for everybody with the aim of Loka Sangraha. Why? Because he felt this was Krishna's wish. So Krishna Arpanam, he works on Saturday, Sunday also, when nobody works on those days. All other executives, including the CEO of that organization, tell him, "You don't need to do this project." He says, "No, I just feel like trying, let me do it." If anybody wants to join, nobody joins. They say, "It's a weekend, we need to celebrate." But he said, Krishna would not be happy with me if I didn't do this work. For Krishna, I have to do it. I should try. It's okay if it doesn't work. And that work went so well within a span of 4 days that they got that project, and that project is helping everybody. All the employees got a raise because it was a big project which was going to keep them busy for a couple of years at least. So that is again, and what he says it was all Krishna's doing. Where did Krishna come and do all the market analysis, market stuff? It was this person. His name is also Lakshmi Narayan. But it was he who was doing all of it. But full karta bhava is outside of it. He is doing it as a karma, as a Krishnarpanam. That bhava can change everything. And no energy. He felt I did not feel drained, and I was surprised I could do this because it was not in a field. He said our organization didn't have the expertise. From nowhere, very short time, I made a few phone calls. I found a person who is an expert. We outsourced that expertise also to complete that part of the project. And then now everybody, 1 year later, he again contacted us. And he was saying that, see, even still we are working on the same project, which was successful at that time. And that was the peak of Corona period. That was a time when they were themselves running out of projects. So this is something which karta bhava is very, very like problematic if it is the ahankar which is the karta. That is rajas. Sattva does not. But what about tamas? Adharmam dharmamiti ya manyate tamasa vrutaha. Just one second, I think I have gone too many shlokas ahead. Yes, we stopped at 24th, we'll go to the 25th shloka. Yes. Anubandham kshayam himsam anapakpekshya cha paurusham mohadarabhyate karma yat tamasam uchyate. Actions that have arisen out of ignorance is illusion, disproportionately and mechanically in a state of delusion, disregarding the consequences by wastage of effort. These actions of tamas inflict only injury and hurt. So this is tamas. Krishna is saying this is driven by illusion. Mechanically done actions, actions which are not done consciously, disregarding the consequences, wasting the efforts. Efforts are wasted. Where resources have to be allotted, there no resources are being allotted. Where resources are not required, there excess of resources are being given. And they are done just mechanically. There's no spirit in the movement, there's no spirit in the talk, there's no spirit in the walk, nothing of what the person is doing. These actually inflict injury, they inflict hurt. We don't realize it also. We become the spreaders of hurt and injury. That is what tamas is. Tamas creates great troubles to everybody. Mukta sango naham vadi dhrutyutsaha samanvitaha siddha siddhayor nirvikaraha karta satvika uchyate. Who is that satvik karta? That person. He is following that Mukta Sangha. He is free and united also and yet free at the same time. In success and loss, whose actions are calm and resolute. He is not attached to the outcome of the action, whether it is success or whether it is loss. People become very disappointed when they are lost. You can see them hiding their hands in their palms when they experience failure. And when they are successful, then they start big smiles on the face, jumping and celebrating. Yeah, I knew it, I did it, I was going to do it. The same excitement then just becomes opposite again. This is not the way of someone who is sattvic. He's remaining calm and resolute. Yeah, there's a great determination inside. In sattva state, all his works he is said to execute. Devoid of attachment. Ahankar has been just somebody comes and says, you are a fool. Yes, I am a fool. What is the work that needs to be done? Please tell me. Let's go ahead. What is that going to? It's okay. That's your perception. You have all liberty to perceive me to be a fool. It's all right. But what's the next thing? What is our work? What do you want from me? And let us go ahead. So that aspect, devoid of attachment. Ahankar is when person lets go of that. And bereft of attachment, all the works undertaken. So again, Mukta Sangha is so important because attachment spoils everything. It is just like having a black paint or black dot on a beautiful picture. Attachment is going to make that only. We need to let go of attachments. But what happens when attachments are there? Nothing. Krishna says that is Rajasic then. That's a Rajasic karta. Ragi karma phale prepsur labdho hinsatma koshichihi harsha shokan vitah karta rajasa parikirtitah. With passion, indulgence, and by holding attachment, greedily desiring the fruits of works and their fulfillment, extremes of emotions in success and loss, spreading violence, such a doer is said to be rajas in his nature and essence. So extreme passions, extreme indulgence, greedily desiring the fruits of work, extreme of emotions, whether in success or in loss, spreading violence. Well, such a person, that person is rajas in the nature and also in essence. Rajas is, it's like somebody has sold the person, and Rajas is the person has given himself on rent for this force of Rajas. When you allow the forces to govern. Best example I can think of is some time back, a few years ago, it was in the news, there were riots in Bangalore. People went and broke buses and different things were going on. I had a lot of friends there, I was surprised. And then one friend told me, man, this lady who got caught, she was given biryani. That is all she was told. You will get free biryani. That is why she has gone and she has broken a few buses. Just for a desire for just one plate of food. He said, look at this. So what has happened here? That person, she got trapped in the CCTV camera. People understood she had to bear the consequences. Another person, 500 rupees and this much. And he's gone and inflicted damage worth several crores. And that person's life is gone. What will he do with that food? And that food will be digested in one day. 500 rupees may help that person get some alcohol for a day or two and end of story after that. But what is going to happen to that person? But this is Rajas. Look at the violence, look at the injury, Rajasic actions. We sometimes hit, sometimes physically abuse, verbally abuse, hurt people, all because of what? Rajas. And then these are actions which cannot be undone. That's the danger in life. Life comes only once, is it not? Where do we get a second chance? Sometimes life does not give us a second chance to make amends also. That is why we need to be alert, we need to be conscious, because sometimes we can ruin the most beautiful and sacred things of our own life. Sometimes that can also be lost in the force of rajas. Passion, indulgence, great works and desires, and then it spreads violence. That is exactly what it does. With extreme emotions in success and loss. Very happy, very disappointed. Both means excited, overexcited, and over depressed. Both appear in the same individual. I remember in my early days when I was with Damleji, electricity would go away. It was like, oh no, electricity is gone. The next second, electricity is come. It's like, yes, I had just jumped happily, and then again, my happiness, I'm not finished jumping also. Again, electricity is gone. So, just in few seconds, I've got a full fluctuation of emotions from happy to sad. That time he had told the word, don't rejoice. That was when, yes, then remember, don't rejoice. Your best moment also. You don't want to become like a child jumping happily, excited that the cake is coming and hitting the cake and letting that cake fall down and then crying over that. This is what happens. We can't contain our happiness also. That's also an important. Even Anand lena chahiye, it is said. We know we need, that's an art of living. It's an art of experiencing the bliss of life also. When are we going to experience that? But it's not possible in the Rajasic state. Let us go to the third one. Ayuktah prakritah stabdha Shatho naishkruti kolasah Vishadi dirgha sutri cha Karta tamasa uchyate. One who acts without thinking and reacts by default. His every work is obstinate and wrought with fault, cunning and ignorant, indolent and inexpressive. Such a doer is said in a state of tamas is always depressive. This is the case of a person with tamasic nature. He acts by default. Means simply, there's no logic also. There has to be, why is this person behaving this way? Why is this person talking that way? No, we cannot understand. Because there is no logic behind that. Every work is obstinate. Arrogance is speaking in every work that person does. Sometimes you give some work to some people and then you wonder, why did I give this work? It was better if I did not give it. I had asked this person to fold a bedsheet. Now look at what he has done. He's not only made a mess of the bedsheet, everything else around also, because he's listening to music, doing. Parents get that experience. We've called the children to do some work. Instead, they have now added more trouble. Or somebody is making help when somebody is making chapati, atta. I want to help. Or he does not want to help, and no, come and help me in the kitchen. The mother says to the child, or father says to the child, now put some water in the atta. He takes a jug and pours the entire jug of water. What's the use? What is the use? Why did you call this person to help? That's the biggest question, because tamasic nature, every action is filled with because there's no spirit in that individual's action. There's no spirit there. The person is not interested in doing it at all. So the actions are also going to be just disinterested. They're going to be lazy. There's going to be inexpression. There's going to be ignorance. All these will manifest in tamas. This is the tamasic action. We don't want tamasic action anywhere, do we? Any moment we can think of tamasic action. Can we expect it from the nurse in the hospital or a doctor or our lawyer or any place? Where do we accept tamas or we aspire for tamasic actions? Anywhere. Can we think of it? Nowhere, is it not? So then no, ignorance is not bliss for us also then, because this is not something we can accept, because that if we accept it, we'll have to experience all the consequences of tamas also. Let us go on. This is again.
Shishiji, I have a question here.
Yes, see.
When we talk about like self-respect,
Yeah,
we
swabhiman.
get abhiman, we get hold on to that.
It is important to
Uh,
hold on to it. We
yeah.
should
So
be.
what will come under like?
It is sattvic. It is a sattvic aspect. India is my country. I am proud of my country. I should be proud of my country. But that proud should not become rajasic. I go, this person is from that country. I have to cut that person's head now because he is not my country. I am Nijaha Paroveti. My country has taught me the Sanatan Parampara. But my country has also taught me Dharmo Rakshati Rakshita. If I just say, no, no, we should not have pride, allow people to, break my culture, break everything, I don't need to hold on to my roots. What will a tree grow? How will a tree grow without its roots? So we cannot forget our roots. So we should have pride in that. We should have. It's an important aspect. If we do not have pride in our own standing, we will have no standing in life. I have seen many of my friends, they have gone into situations where they don't have anything to hold on behind, they don't see anything in the front also. They say Trishanku state, no? Why is that? Because you're not having. So you should have some pride. No, I am this. I am the son of this person. I am the daughter of this person. That pride is there. But now everybody's parents are not gods, so we cannot say because I am a person like this, I will have all the wrong aspects also. They say children should try to surpass the parents. They should become better than parents, and that is how parents will be happy also. God also wants us to go ahead. But pride must not be lost. Self-pride, no? It is not Rajasic. It's a basic sattvic nature. Arjuna was suddenly feeling all hyper intellectual when he said, it is okay, I will get a good name if I die just like that. Where was the pride of the Kshatriya there? He lost it. That is why Uttishta Bharata, Uttishta Kaunteya. Again Krishna was Tasmad Uttishta. That is why, rise, rise. Why did Krishna say that? Because that is required, and that is not Rajasic, that's Sattvic. The one desire to uphold your dharma, that is the only permitted desire, which is not Rajasic. Yes, ji. Hari Om ji, Hari Om. So the next understanding also, Krishna says,
Shashruji,
yes, ji, Madhavi ji, yes, please.
if the tamasic person is ignorant,
Hmm.
where will he get the knowledge? Means to do correctly. Means means
If you say,
it's not. Is it his mistake?
yes, ji.
Is it his mistake, sir?
Yes, ignorance. See, one is it's like I remember when I was doing exercise in a ground, a stranger came and told me while doing the exercise, he said, do this exercise. You are doing this, I'll tell you. I was just, why is this person coming to tell me? But he looked like he was saying with a good, sincere will. So I listened to him. And he said, first time I'm telling you, make mistakes, no problem, he said. Next, he said, but tomorrow if you make the same mistakes what you are doing now, then it is a sin. I was like, my God, he's just come and he started training me. But then there was a very big point. He said, consciously when somebody does something wrong, then it is unacceptable. Unconsciously to some extent it's okay. But the question comes is, are we Krishna to go and give pravachan to everybody? Krishna himself does not give pravachan to Arjuna until Arjuna says, Shishyas teham shadimam. There's humility. If there is no humility, the person does not want to receive. You tell the entire Gita 100 times to that person, it will fall on this side, it will go, then that person will say, see, you told like this in the Gita, Gita says like this, I don't care about all of this is wrong. I have understood what Krishna didn't understand in the Gita. What are we going to do then? Nothing. But it's going to be a waste of our efforts because somewhere we are trying to change somebody thinking we are a higher position than that person. Instead, if that person is receptive, your simple word, Krishna will function through you. You will not have to worry about that. And you can aspire. No? Sometimes there's a problem. Many times when people study the Gita, they have a very strong feeling, my dear ones should also read the Gita. They should understand. That's a very good, what we can say, nice bhava. We should not lose that bhava. When we say we become detached, we cannot lose karuna, we cannot lose mamata. All these feelings have to be inside of us. But just try if you want as an experiment only. But be ready to face. Experiments means it can be successful. It can fail also. Just try and teach the Gita to somebody who doesn't want to hear. It does not work. No matter how much you try, how much you quote it, sometimes people try to take Krishna out of the Gita and take the concepts only. I want to take the concepts to the world, and they write their own books. The Gita loses its essence only. The principles lose their, what we can say, founding. I tried taking a Gita for a bunch of doctors for a short period, crash course, 7-day course, because one young resident had committed suicide, and he died, and it was Corona period, and I was like, see, classes are going on for these are our heroes, they are working so hard, let me try. Really speaking, I had only one person attending on the last day. But started from day one, I kind of made dhyana is important. I tried to package it in a way which their busy schedule and everything is there, but it did not work out. But the very next, that they were all junior students, they said anesthesia is so difficult, we have difficult, we will not be able to attend and all of that. But the very next batch I said, oh yaar, yes, jam nahi raha, ye galti ho gayi, this is wrong. We cannot repackage something without the spirit. We will have to. I told I am talking the Gita, but somewhere Krishna's Shraddha and these concepts have been introduced in such a way which we cannot take it in bits and pieces. It has to be taken in a particular way, and the person needs to be receptive. Only one person attended, that person was receptive, so it was successful in a way. Damleji also says if one person also is listening, you are happy, you should be more than blessed. That is the greatest thing we can do. But I understood my fault is no, I cannot take it to someone who does not want. Then a very next batch, a very busy anesthesiologist only attended all the sessions and said Krishna arranged that I could somehow find time for these sessions. So how is that? What happened? And that was the entire, it was not 7 days, it was the full course. And somehow the person could understand, and they said luckily 2 times my shifts did not come at that time when it has supposed to come also. Otherwise 2 weeks would have gone just like that for me. Something, it was a miracle. It never happened before in career, is that person told. So what, Madhviji, I think you are probably thinking of somebody, what is the fault of a person in ignorance, and you want that person to come out. You will start living the principles, no? Children will also start coming and asking, how are you doing this? I want to learn. And then you can say, see, this is the Gita. This is the beauty of the Gita. This has taught me this. And what we learn from what we set as an example, that goes much better than words which are conveyed to people. You become, in difficult moments, people will come and ask, where is your strength coming from? How are you facing this difficulty? How are you silent in spite of all this? How are you getting it? I really want to understand. That's when the Bhagavad Gita starts. That time you don't say Krishna's name also is okay for them, because they want to learn. Krishna does not mind. He does not say do my japa all the time. But we should know our source. We cannot become rajasic and try to become the doer. It does not work also if we try. Yes, Madhviji.
Can we say like
Thank you,
your
sir.
actions speak more than your words?
Yeah?
Actions speak more than words.
Yes. Because for me also, my theories are going on right now. My practical is going to start after these sessions. For me, I am going to now take a break from conducting sessions also. I am going to start doing practical, because actions are more important. Living the principles, they are very, very important. So let us continue. 28th shloka. अयुक्तः प्राकृतः स्तब्धः शठो नैष्कृति कोलसः विषादी दीर्घसूत्री च कर्ता तामसमुच्यते. No, did we? I think we stopped at. Did we finish the 27th shloka? Yes, we didn't complete the 27th shloka, is it not? Yes, 27th one. Ragi karma phala prepsur labdho hinsatmako shuchihi harsha shokan vitah karta rajasah parikirtitah. With passion, indulgence and holding attachment, greedily desiring the fruits of works. Yes, we saw this. This we have seen. So, excess of emotions. This is rajasic, is what Krishna is saying. So yes. This spreads violence. That person is rajasic in the element. But what about tamas? Tamas also we saw it is by default. By a person is just reacting by default. That person is cunning. Is not expressive. There is no expression in the individual. All these lead to ultimately a kind of a depressive state in the individual. Now, next one, the 29th one, this is where I think we have to restart. Buddhir bhedam dhruteshchaiva gunatans trividham shrunu prochyamanam asheshena pruthaktvena dhananjaya. O Arjuna, even understanding is said to be threefold. About it, I shall reveal what is understood and told. Likewise, persistence too has three actualities. Hear me carefully. I shall explain their qualities. The persistence, even the realization of the individual, all of these have the stamp of the three gunas, which we have seen already. Pravrittim cha, nivrittim cha, karya karye, bhaya bhaye, bandham moksham chaya veti, buddhi sa partha satviki. That which sees the laws of action and renunciation, recognizing the difference between right and wrong action. He who understands what is to be feared and what is to be not, what binds or frees the spirit. Sattva's understanding he has got. That individual who can understand, this is going to trap me further, this is going to trap my spirit, this is going to prevent my expression of the inner spirit. He does not allow himself to get trapped, because the Vivek Buddhi is Jagrut. The person knows what is right, what is wrong. He is able to see what is right and wrong. It is so difficult to get that state, but once it is got, in all moments you can actually perceive what is right and what is wrong. It's a kind of we give so many names, gut feeling, sixth sense, so many things can be given to it. But it is just the viveka of a person that is awakened. What is real action? Where is Tyaga? What is the Tyaga? When one must do that? All that is clearly understood by the person. What is feared and what is not? Abhaya, fearlessness is a guna. But again, there is something called being adventurous, there is something called being foolhardy. I say I am fearless, Krishna is protecting me. I am doing a Bhagavad Gita class every day, so I have a kavach of Krishna. So when I go to work every day, I need not wear a helmet. Will that help me? Will this, if there is an accident, will a shlok of Gita give a kavach around my head? Maybe Krishna can give it, it's his wish. It is not I who can, I start saying a shlok and create a kavach around it. That's Krishna's wish, he can help, I may get saved even in a very bad fall. That is a different aspect. But my action, this is foolhardy, not wearing a helmet when I am traveling on a highway. So many accidents I watch every day happening. It would be stupid if I decide to not wear helmet and go, because that's not being fearless, that's being foolhardy. So understanding what has to be feared. I have my limitations, I have my indriyas which are limited. I have a lifespan which is limited. So I should understand before my time is up, I should take away all the tamas, try to cultivate as much sattva as possible, and try to work for Krishna as quickly as possible, because who knows how long life is. So this aspect, being conscious, and that I can be conscious. I do not fear death, but I should be conscious of it, that is a part of life also. So there are different actions where sometimes people say, no, everything is fearless, I don't need to worry. No, you need to be aware of the consequences also. A possibility of failure is always there in every action. So when you are aware of it, then only you can actually go fearlessly. It's all right. I am ready for it. Arjuna was told, you win, the world will celebrate. Even if you lose, you are going to be the Kshatriya who has earned the Swargadwara. It is opened for you by your actions, and people will again praise you for your actions, because you fought 500,000 people on your own. That is the pride of the Kshatriya. That is the way. So this is there. This understanding is got to a person who is sattvic. But what about the Rajasic person? Yaya dharmam adharmam cha karyam eva cha ayathavat prajanati buddhi sa partha rajasi. That which is right action and that which is wrong action. His mind has a faulty sense of discrimination, of what is to be done and avoided. He holds a wrong notion. Such a being is Rajas in understanding and perception. What is right action and what is wrong action? What is dharma and what is adharma, only the person does not understand. It is like anybody has heard of Don Quixote? Yes, I think there was a story of, I think in schools we had it in English. This person goes he's a retired man who suddenly imagines he is now a knight. He goes riding on a donkey, he calls that donkey as his horse. He starts fighting windmills, saying windmills are dragons. He's in his own fantasy land. That is the state of a person who is Rajasic in perception. What is dharma and what is adharma, the aspect is only forgotten. So it's like a thermometer which is telling when the temperature is more, the thermometer is telling its temperature is less. And when it is less, it is showing a wrong reading. What will you do with that thermometer? Can the doctor use it? Yes, or it has to be discarded? Yes, please. Hari Om.
It has to be discarded.
It has to be, because the perception is completely gone. The perception is wrong. So it does not know what is right and what is wrong. What is right is going to be called wrong and what is wrong is going to be called right. That is a very sad state. Sometimes Krishna also says, enough, this Arjuna is too much, I will need to find another Dhananjay for me. Mahabharata is very big, great Bharat, it is there, and there are so many Dhananjays across the length and breadth. So this is what Krishna tells him, Nimitta Matra Bhava Savya Sachin, because Arjuna, even without you, all armies of opposition who are opposing the truth will crumble. I don't need you. I have already, the death of theirs is already written the day they perform their actions. This is what Arjuna was told in the Vishwarup chapter. So he does not know what is to be done, what is to be avoided, driven by a wrong notion. That is Rajasic in perception and understanding. But what about tamas? We will just look at 3 more shlokas, then we will stop. Adharma dharma meti ya manyate tamasa vruta sarvathan viparitanscha buddhi sa partha tamasi. Those who are veiled by darkness's cloak, deluded by falsehood, pseudo interpretations they evoke. Their perception of the world is blurred by their misunderstanding. O Arjuna, such beings are said to be tamas in their understanding. So those who are driven by the cloak of darkness, they are deluded by falsehood. Asatya is now fully controlling that individual. What are they going to do? They are going to invoke pseudo interpretations. Means you do something, see, you are like this, you were hurting me, I understand. You never hurt the person. But the person is saying, see, you hurt me like this, so I am behaving this way, you are like this, you are that way. So many such reactions happen. Or interpretation of scriptures also, people make false interpretations. Look at this. Gita is talking about this. Yesterday I had a very nice conversation from a childhood friend. Said, Gita has told, I have studied the Gita. Gita has told we should not worship idols. Idol worship is mockery. I said, no, it has not. No, yes, it is told, it was very firm. I have studied, I don't remember the shloka number right now. There is a shloka. I said, I remember the chapter also where you are talking about which shloka you are referring, but you are reading one shloka. What is there before that shloka? What is there after the shloka? Next shloka, what is the context? What was the question? Arjuna was asked, no, is it not? Shraddha, when he asks about which is better, form or formless. Krishna has not told one is wrong. He has not even said formless is bad. But he has said which is better, what is beneficial. But no, the interpretation is very strong. No, I know it, I know it. So now this is what the understanding only has been blurred by wrong interpretation. It is not a fault of an individual, but tamas is a fault because you allow tamas to remain, then it is the biggest fault. Because Krishna is there, he is our friend, he is not somebody enemy of ours. He is waiting to take us from asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Krishna is there to take us to light from darkness. He is there. Problem is we say, chal hat, I don't want you. Don't move away. Then what can he do? The hand that is coming to save us, we turn it away. That's the problem. So tamas is a problem when the person is consciously allowing it to remain inside of them. Next, the persistence of a person. We have seen yatna has an important aspect in a person in transforming fate also. So what is it? Let us see. Dhrutyaya dharayate manah pranendriya kriyaha yogana vyabhicharinya dhruti sa partha satviki. When the grit and determination are firm and unwavering through yoga's regulated efforts and conditioning, when there is control over one's mind, senses and existence, that is said to be sattva state of persistence. The great determination, it is firm, it is like, it's alright, no matter what happens, nobody is around me also, I will walk on this path, I don't need any support other than the divine. I will walk, it is okay, I have not found realization, it is something like that. We had a great determination among the people of our India when we were under the control of the foreign forces. There was a determination that Bharat will be Swatantra. Jayostute, Namostute, Sri Mahan Mangale. So many words, this is the name, this is the country, so many beautiful aspirations, so many ahutis were poured. But what was it? Swaraj is my birthright, I shall have it. We will fight it, we will claim it, we will receive it. That was a great determination. And when the determination is firm, it does not matter. Young ones would come, and there is a story also how they go to Lokmanya Tilak, knowing fully well that they are going to die. Lokmanya Tilak also is so strong. He is known as a Karma Yogi, very strong person that in Maharashtra, many people think Karmande Vadika Raste has been coined by Lokmanya Tilak only, because that was how he lived there. Tilak Maharaj is how they would call him. But then there's this youngsters also, they go to them and they know that they are not going to see the light again. This is the end of their road in this birth. But they are doing it for Bharat Mata. So they go, they ask for Ashirvad. And what does he say? Shubhaste Pantha. He says, happy journey. That is all. They are also, their understanding consciously and determination is so firm. That determination, that is sadhana. That is when siddhis will appear. You are not doing sadhana to attain siddhis. Siddhis are a consequence which are not important at all compared to the sadhana. But the determination is firm. If you don't have it, you say, Krutva Nava Druda Sankalpam. There's a beautiful Sanskrit Gita also. Vitaranto Nava Sandesham. Rachayamo Nava Itihasam. Rachayamo Nava Sanghatanam. Create new history. Create new organization, but don't forget the purpose. Don't forget the direction. It should be strong. Don't forget the message which was given to you. Upanishads also. Kruto Smara Krutam Smara. Summon that spirit inside. Bring the determination. But that is sattva. That is the power. Sattva is not powerless. Many people feel sattvic state is just quite all powerless. No, that is that firmness, but that is rooted in truth. There's no impulsive actions there. But what about Rajas? Rajas is different. Yaya tu dharma kamarthan drutya dharya jina prasangena phalakankshi drutissa partha rajasi. Oh Arjuna, when to attachments the beings are firm. Restlessly, wealth, righteousness, and desire they affirm. Motivated by them, passion is their main feature. And Rajas is said to be their persistence in nature. Very strong attachments. Restless, always restless, holding on to wealth. Even righteousness, they have extra attachment. I am like this, so and so, I am going to stand. Extra. That is a problem. Desire is in plenty in such a person.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om ji. Yes, Geeta ji. Hari Om. Motivated by them, passion is their main feature, and Rajas is their state of persistence in nature. So wherever desires come in, we become Rajasic. So let us be careful not to allow desires to come in, because allowing our desire impulses to come in does not ensure we experience what we desire. Pursuit of happiness is useless. Stand in the place, experience happiness. It is with you only, around you. You don't have to go pursuing. It's like a dog trying to go pursuing. It's like a dog trying to pursue its own tail. It cannot catch it. It will go in circles. Instead, santushtaha satatam yogi. Remain in that state. You don't have to go running after desires. Krishna goes on. 35th one. We'll stop here. Yaya swapnam bhayam shokam vishadam madamevacha na vimunchati durmedha drutissa partha tamasi. When, O Arjuna, one is full of ignorance, biding time and desire, sleep and indolence, filled with fear, foolhardiness and depression, such a proud being is tamas and determination. Such a person full of ignorance, only wanting to not do action, not perform the actions, remaining lazy, trying to see different dreams without trying to materialize any of them. That is tamas. Filled with fear, fear is continuously inside of that individual. Foolhardiness also, wrong state of mind, wrong logic, wrong tarka, and done in a wrong way. And that leads to again depression in that individual. So such a person is a proud person, but a proud person who is a defeated person. That is tamas, is what Krishna is saying. That is the determination of a person. Sometimes tamas also is a very strong force which people cannot take out. It's very difficult. Big surgeries have to be done, intellectual surgeries by the psychiatrist. Only then it can be removed. Then can be removed from the person. So something like that. These are the three types. Like that, there is also pleasure, which is of three types. This is interesting. Even pleasure is sattvic. There is rajasic and tamasic. But we'll stop there. We'll stop there because now we need to. We'll go to the next part. Tomorrow will be our last part of the Gita Adhyay, our series on Gita Talks. So tomorrow we will be completing. It's Saturday. I request all participants they can complete tomorrow. Yes, please. The sessions will also be recorded. I will conclude with the Shanti Mantra, after which any queries, anything you wish to say, you are most welcome. Hari Om. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyanto, ma kasyit dukkha bhag bhavet. Hari Om Tat Sat. Krishna Mande Jagatguru. Om Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Yes, any queries, anything you wish to share, you want to ask something, you are most welcome.
See, I have a question,
Okay.
Sushruji.
Ji.
This out of love and care,
Hmm.
out of love and care,
Yes,
if
Ji.
we advise someone
Ha.
or if we help someone,
Mm-hmm.
whether that is a wrong act.
Is it a wrong act? Ha.
As you said, unless it is
Asked.
asked
Yes,
that
yes.
you help me or you advise me, if you extend these two things to someone,
Ha. Ha.
whether that is the wrong
Yes,
thing.
Ji, Ji. Yes, Ji. A very nice question, Srinivas Ji. If we see Das Bodh, Damle Ji had introduced me about it. I have not studied the entire book. It is written by Ramdas Swami, one of the first books of behavioral psychology written by men. So now there was something Murkhanche Lakshana, and the first line was Vicharla Vina Sange To Ati Murkha. The person who speaks without being asked is the big Murkha. And I was like, what is he writing, my Charitra or what? Because I had the habit of going, and when I got introduced to this, I was like, no, I need to explain to my friends. I have to go, and I used to try so much. I used to try different ways. I would sometimes plead. I would try to as much as I can. But I was like, nothing is working because you just try advising someone who does not want to receive the advice. As authority, I as authority of Mitra, or I as authority of Pita, or I as authority of lover, or that authority, you cannot use it also to give advice to some ear which is not ready to listen to it. Maybe that person will listen to the same advice from somebody else, but not from us because they have not given us that authority in their life, or we cannot demand that, and we cannot utilize that. So there's a big risk also, because many times good advices also have a wrong action, and many times when we think, sometimes out of our love we think we are doing something right for another individual, like the story of the botanist. The botanist wanted to help the butterfly become beautiful and saw that butterfly, see this butterfly is struggling in this pupa, and the botanist said, no, I'll help that. I know botany. But the botanist had never studied about butterfly's life cycle properly. Now the botanist goes and tears the pupa so that the butterfly can come out. Butterfly comes out. But now how can the butterfly be thankful? Because now the butterfly has become crippled all the life because that pressure, just once, Hariom. Yes, because that pressure of fighting, that pressure of all of it only molds that butterfly, gives it the strength. So here the interference was not required. So when Krishna tells us to give advice, we can advise, but not when we want to do the advice. And if we are receptive, we understand where we have to intervene and where we are not supposed to intervene. And as a principle, if we watch Krishna's principle or Charitra also, Krishna only Prahasanniva Bharata. He says, Arjuna, what? You are speaking here. You are speaking great logic. You are a pseudo intellectual suddenly. We have not come here for a pravachan. You are now giving me such a thing. He just talks to him. He asks the question, this only. And then only, how is it? Katham Bhishma Maham Sank. Immediately a passionate response. Because Arjuna is not in a state of reception. But Krishna does his part. He doesn't give advice. But they say no, light touch, showing indication. See, Krishna. Arjuna, but it is a neutral advice. It is not an advice. It's like Krishna would have told that to anyone, anybody. It is not because it is his beloved Arjuna he was speaking. No, this is not the right way. Any stranger also will give that advice. That type, as an uncle, as an elder, he is given that, but neutrally. Not like you must listen to what I am saying because I have taken the pledge for you. So, but when Arjuna realizes, then he says, many times parents try to give advice to children and children are not receptive. Even if the advice is good, it will not reach the children. Sometimes it gets even more complicated because these are all what we can say gunas, game of sanskaras, game of purva karma, bandhanas, all these things come into the way. I remember I had a dialogue with my mother and me, always there would be some kind of, always she wanted to say something, I had to say the same time something else which is opposite. Though we did not have opposite perspective, we both have the same guru, we both have the same, some understanding. But it kept happening. One day I said, mother, you don't speak anything, I won't speak anything, I want to sit next to you, I have come home to meet you, I just want to hold your hand and sit for a while. That's all. And she also was like, yes, we keep unnecessarily having unnecessary dialogues. That was in my earliest state. More than her, it was I who was responsible for that. It was just in my starting state where normally when we start sadhana, you suddenly feel you have got understanding of the world. So you start speaking, so you become more rajasic. Probably it was my rajas. But I realized it's like I better keep mauna now, I better sit, I want to enjoy the moments with my mother. And when that happens, slowly the changes also later on. Now we have very good conversations whenever we want, we don't have any trouble also. So I think Srinivas ji, probably
sometimes Sushil
yeah.
out of your even duty as an elderly person or as a maybe a better person who knows more about
that is a
things.
problem, Naji. That is
Yeah.
that is a problem when we assume we know more. That is the biggest problem when we assume. When a child becomes 18, it is said you never tell anything after that. Sometimes 16 also. After 16, each child is born with an experience. Each child has risen in life with some experiences. No matter, child will always remain a child. And say, what is this? This boy, I have seen him, he was very small, this person could not do anything. So that way, in the parents' eyes, the child will always, and they should have that feeling. But when we feel we know more, but they say child is father of man. Parents should think of learning more from the children, and only when they ask after a particular age. Because world changes, era changes, so many things changes. Changes take place every, what we can say, day also in 4 years, 5 years. and now he has a different generation. They have a different perspective. I think earlier it was very common for parents and teachers to give nice physical punishments also with they say chhadi lage cham cham vidyai gham gham. They say when you get a cane, then only vidya comes, when you get teaching with the cane. We had our teachers also in school. I had a discussion with my friend. He said, see, if our teachers did not use the cane, we would have been the worst. Our school would have come crashing down. That was required for us at that time. But today, the same teacher, when we met, he said, your generation was different. Look at this generation. I can't even speak one word. The same teacher who had given us big, what we would say, patas in Tamil, means Diwali firecrackers. This person has now become very quiet. For this generation, this person has changed his nature only. Because now the time has changed, it's hardly a big gap of generations what I'm talking about. Maybe just 6 years or 7 years. But such a big change has happened. So what happens when we think we have the authority? Suddenly, without our knowledge also, we become aham, I am telling, I know what is right. It's okay, you know what is right, but does that person want to know that? Let the person experience life. Let the person fall also, because you cannot take anybody else's experience. And if you do not give that freedom, what is going, the butterfly will not fly, no, it will become like crippled. And that is not something we want to anytime do. It's a very difficult moment if that happens. When it happens unconsciously, nobody does it purposely. Parents have raised children all the time. Why would they want anything bad for? Even Dhritarashtra did not want anything bad for Duryodhana, but unknowingly to him, he allowed that because it was just like that. So just probably the advice part, they come to you, don't leave that opportunity. It is a God, you should say, thank you Krishna for giving this chance. I was waiting for this. Now the person is asking me, I will share everything. My knowledge is there for who else? It is for passing only, for passing it over to you. Come, sit, let us talk. But when that dialogue is then it is said, that link must be formed. Kal, aaj or kal. That is the link when it is formed naturally. Otherwise, it's all, I was told like this, then this person will tell to the next child also. When this child becomes a mother or father, the same dialogue will take place in generation after generation. Then it becomes parampara. हमारे घराने में यही चलता आ रहा है. This is how it. We don't need to enter into that full thing. If we allow it naturally, sometimes the walls are created by us, and they are actually very thin walls. We understand it, we can break them completely, and life can become brilliant. One lady has, after Gita study, at the age of, after retirement, she has seen how her life's anxieties were unnecessary, and she's become free of all anxiety. Just a realization. Just a realization. She's even told her brother, I don't want to talk to you anymore. You have been misusing me all the time. I have got sick of you. You better talk to me with a good intention. Otherwise, don't call me at all. So for 4 months, that brother didn't call her. But afterwards, he also agreed, and I was doing like this. And she said, I am not a walkover anymore. People are not going to stamp on me. I am going to. But this was a realization which she could have got anytime. Probably when she just understood something. So something like that. Gita has that. You can pray. We can pray to Krishna to give us moments also where we see something wrong happening. It's very difficult. Tukaram had told, Budte hai jana pahve na dora. I don't know. I'm seeing them fall. But even he could not intervene, no? Vittala was functioning through him. He could not intervene in changing another person's life journey or pattern. And so he was feeling sad. He said, Vittala, give me the chance. The Abhanga came, and through Abhanga he brought it. He didn't go directly telling also. So it is something like that, Srinivas. Hari Om.
Actually,
Hari.
what you said, Shushit, is even I have experienced. Like sometimes we tend to advise or tell
Yeah.
everybody or share so many things.
Hmm.
So it has happened with me also, and it has brought so many frictions and rift in the relationships also, just because of the tendency to
Advice. Tendency to
let
advise.
me help, let me advise.
Intention
that
was good, is it not? Intention was the good
intention
one.
was good, but the other person was not receptive enough.
Yes.
So that what happened is that then it was like I am trying to help, I am trying to do something, and then the other person.
Expectation
Because of
comes.
that, yeah, because then the thing that my intention went on one side,
Hmm.
it took a backseat. But the thing, okay, I am trying to help, and I am trying to tell something right, the other person is not receiving it. So that took over the good intention, and then there
Yes.
was a rift, right? And as you rightly said also that, like my grandma used to always tell me that अकल उम्र से नहीं आती है.
Hmm. Okay.
So the wisdom is not like you're aging and then your wisdom will come. So I mean, it can be at any stage of life when you understand certain things. So like for
Yes.
example, yesterday I was talking to my son, and we were having some discussion. Suddenly he said that I think animals are better than humans. We were like, what? So he said, yes, because we humans don't understand, we hurt other people's emotion.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was taken back,
So
like,
how old
really?
is he, Deepti ji? His
He's
name
just
is Sahil,
seven.
no? 7 years old.
Yeah,
Such a
he's just
wonderful,
seven.
so sensitive and
So
wonderful. Yes, yes.
so because we were talking about some context was there, something was there about, I mean, how kids were teasing and all those stuff. Then he suddenly said, and like, animals do understand, they care, like a cow's care, and he was giving me certain examples also. So then that line of my grandma just, I mean, it just
Yeah,
hit me that
yeah. Okay.
yes.
Ji, ji, ji.
And then I was trying to relate everything that we, I mean, when he slept out, then I was trying to relate what Gita
Yes,
tells us so
yes.
many
There
things.
is
So
actually a
the
song, Animals and
mm,
Children Tell the Truth, They Never Lie.
yeah.
Ji, ji. Yes,
Yes,
yes. So
yes,
wonderful,
but
ji. Yes, ji. Hari Om. Thank you, ji. Hari Om. Hari Om. So tomorrow's session, it is tomorrow, despite being a Saturday, our final session will be tomorrow. Yes, please. Ji. Hari Om, ji. Hari Om.
Can I have a look at the book, Rhythm of Gita? I think you're referring to that book, right? Can I have a look?
Yes, ji, yes, ji.
Oh, how many pages is it? And is it, as you're talking, is it explained also?
No, ji. It is a
Definitions are also given.
it is poetry. It is a poetry, ji. I
No,
have no notes. No
that's
notes.
your poetry. Can I see a page of it? Any page?
Yeah, yeah, sure. It is online also. You can get a preview as well. It is there online. Anybody wishes. There's a Sanskrit
Okay.
shloka on
Thank
the
you
left.
so much.
There's a Sanskrit shloka on the left and rhymes on the right. So
Okay.
yes, but it is mostly poetry. In the Sanskrit shlokas, we're having some difficulties because of the editor's page setter. So some of the shlokas may not be perfectly divided. But the rhymes are the main thing. You can the Sanskrit shlokas are for reference to what number it is.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Thank
sir.
you so
Thank you.
much.
Hari Om.
Thank
Hari
you.
Om.
Ji,
Hari Om. Yes, Dr. Pushpaji. Yes, please.
Ji,
Yes, please. Yes, ji.
Ji, you have told that sometimes God will act through our desire, no?
Ha ha.
One of your friend
Yes,
went
yes,
to
yes.
foreign.
Me also
Then
many times. Huh?
how can we differentiate between this
No,
desire is
that is
because
not
we like.
something it happens unconsciously. We realize afterwards only. And it is very rare. God works through desire when He sees that this person is not going to understand any other way. But that is in ignorance. We can be lucky. We can be lucky. It is not something as a technique. It is a lucky, what we can say, Purva Janma Karma, no? Previous, we are
Uh,
luck. Because of that, we have been, though we had desires, we didn't get trapped in the desire. We went after a direction, we fell, we experienced, and then we learned to come out of the desire. My friend came out of the desire, is it not? He might have experienced great sorrow.
yes.
He went
After
to
some
that
time, so
country.
he realized
Yeah,
that
but he
this
would have
is.
experienced great sorrow after going to that country. I came only for her, and she has not accepted me, or she has not bothered to look at me or talk to me. A great depression would have come, a great sorrow would have come. From that, he would have
Mm,
searched for meaning. Then he would have found a direction in a career, and then entered into that, and then used all his intellectual capacities without diverting it
mm.
anywhere else. So probably it was a good. What we can say,
Leela of God,
yeah,
it
yeah,
may
we
be.
can say it. Yes, yes, nicely said. Leela is understood, then you are in joy. Otherwise,
Yes,
you are in ignorance, is it not? Yes, ji.
yes,
But
yes.
it's a very rare thing, so one need not rely on. It's like it may rain in summer
Ah,
once in a while. It is something like that. We cannot use it as a technique that see, Krishna is working through my desire. Because children then
ah.
when they say then they start saying, I have desire for chocolate. It is not my desire. It is my Isha Tattva inside which wants to eat chocolate. So that is not it,
So,
is it not?
if we are conscious about this fact,
Yeah,
no,
we can understand.
we should not
Conscious
have any
people can,
desire.
and conscious people can even understand the indications, the signs. There are omens, so many things which are visible. When you become conscious, no, different people get different signs of behavior. They can see patterns. They can even see certain omens, indicating that yeah, this is the direction I have to go.
Yes, Ji. Sometimes if we are for example, Gita, my desire. going back to a girl is not good. If that person have realized that thing,
Hmm.
he will not go to foreign, and
No,
he
he
would
might
not
have. No, Krishna
go
did
there
not.
and
Krishna would have taken him without that also, without the aspect of sorrow. No, it's like you don't have to burn your hands. I told you when I was, and when an example in the previous session, one adult told
I
me,
can
touch
understand.
the fire and it is not hot, and I put my hand, burnt it. My sister was wise. She
Uh,
didn't have to go through the same
yes,
experience of
yes.
stupidity of
Um,
burning the fingers. Yes, no, something like
Even
that.
with sorrow, we can do that.
Because life can become, if we understand divine presence, there is no clash of egos, this clash of individual will, and divine will is one. It becomes a enjoyable experience. You don't have to fall so many times.
Yes,
It is not a
yes, yes.
necessity, but it is nature which makes us fall. If we transcend that
Uh,
nature, our falls will not have. They call pitfalls are there in sadhana also. The pitfalls reduce
uh,
slowly, slowly, slowly. After a while, there are no pitfalls also after you cross a particular distance. So yes, because
yes.
ultimately the divine is there. Yes, ji. Yes, ji. Hari Om.
Thank you.
Hari Om ji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hari Om.
Hari Om
Hari
ధన్యవాదాలు
Om.
Shukruji.
సార్.
Hari Om. Hari Om ji.
Hari Om, Hari Om,
Hari Om.
Hari
Hari
Om.
Om. Hari Om, Dr. Atul ji.
Ji,
Sushil
Yes, ji.
can I ask you one thing?
All right, ji. Yes,
Hello.
please. Ji, sir. Ji, ji.
Uh, when can we expect you to be back with these sessions again?
Uh,
Because after tomorrow you were saying you will not be.
Ji sir, Ji sir. Actually, for 2 years I have been taking now almost I think 16, 17 batches. I am now feeling it is a time for me to do a little bit more introspection, more reading, a little bit of
Okay.
practical. So for some time I may be taking sessions for kids only now after a while, but adults will take. That was one of the reasons we are recording and uploading online. But I hope
Okay.
with time I want to also. I don't want to say it is permanently over, but I would be some. It will take some time though, Dr. Atulji. As of now,
Okay.
some other
Could you,
things. Yes, ji. Yes, ji.
could you
How
please let
can we get the link and all the things, G?
What link, ji?
The next time, if you are conducting any
Ha,
classes like this,
we will have a group, no? Where you can remain in touch also. I will announce whenever it is there,
okay, okay.
and
You will not
we,
disclose that. You will not. We need not exit from that group,
no, no,
right?
I will send you a group link. Waiting list group is there for Gita classes. Whenever the adults batches
Oh,
are there, we put the link of the new batch when it is launched. Maybe some other teacher also may join the project, and they may also conduct the classes also for adults.
please,
We'll
please, G.
yes,
Even in future,
yes,
I
well,
want to participate
ji,
in this.
ji, certainly, certainly, ji. Ji, thank you. Hari Om.
thank
Hemant
you.
ji,
Thank you
yes,
so much.
Hari Om.
Hari Om
G,
ji.
one more request, G.
Okay, ji, yes, ji.
This 18th Adhyaya,
Uh,
I personally feel it's more important,
hmm.
more important than any other. So
Last
if it
Adhyay.
is possible, last one, if it is possible, will you take it once again, or
Um,
reputation in any other form? If
Ji,
it is
yes, ji.
available,
Yeah,
I want
YouTube.
to.
In YouTube, we are keeping it. You can probably read, and if you have some queries or doubts, you can feel free to call anytime, ji.
Ah,
Yes, ji.
okay, Ji,
Yes,
okay.
ji. All right. Hari. Hari.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank
Hari
you.
Om Sushil
Hari
ji.
Om Hemant ji. Namaste.
Hari Om
Ji.
Sushil.
Yeah.
I'm very enjoying the classes
Thank you.
every day when I
Ji.
have time.
Ji.
I was just asking if I want to buy the book you show, what is
Yeah.
the link?
Yes, it is available in India, and probably Kindle version is available online. I'll put it in the group ji, today. So Amazon it is there, and Flipkart as well.
Hmm?
Uh,
Yeah, and will the class be going on? Because I find it very interesting.
yes, class tomorrow is our final session. We have a delight group where we are connected with, which we meet every 2 times a month. And in the group, we are
Okay.
always connected only with all the participants who have already studied the Gita and want to remain in that Krishna's this consciousness. So that group, I will be able to now focus also a little bit more. We have around 200 members in that group. So we were having very good interactions taking place. Now the group has become a little less, more silent. So maybe we will be able to revive there also. So in the group we'll have, because we have now everybody is on par. After the Gita, we are all on the same level when we have completed. So then we can exchange, we can share, and I think the group will be there. I'll share the link of the group as well for those who wish to join. We will be connected
There will
there.
be class going on then. It's
We
not
study
stopping.
a
There will be class
scripture.
going.
Yeah, yeah. Gita sessions from my end will be completed though, Himanji. Now, but
Okay.
once a month for a scripture session, once a month for a kirtan session. We meet twice a month, and whatever else the group
Yeah.
decides, we study that.
And okay, for the Kirtan session, if I want to
Join, no? Yeah, it
sing,
is. Yeah,
yeah,
most welcome, Ji, because that is wonderful. This is the same link which we use for our sessions. Every Saturday, last Saturday of the month, Kirtan session is there.
okay,
So this next coming Saturday, no? That is tomorrow. Yeah, I think yes. Tomorrow is
tomorrow.
no, not tomorrow. It is the next Saturday probably.
Next,
I'll just check.
so
Yeah, I will just share the link. So there you can join if you wish to participate in the kirtan. You can tell which kirtan you want to join. Even in the last minute, if you wish to, you can. And
okay,
we make a list of participants and we ready the bhajans list. So 1 hour we all it was started by one of our participants only who felt only scripture reading is incomplete without the kirtan and bhajan. So that also must go on. So that is how it started. Yes, ji.
but
Will you please
for the
send
book,
that link?
Yes, ji. Sorry, ji. Yes, Heman ji.
yeah, for the book, do you ship to Mauritius?
All right, I will
Um,
share. We don't, but I will be able to ask the trust, and we will try to make it possible. Yes, by post. No, you can send me the address.
yeah,
I'll go and check in the
yeah. And
post office.
how much is it?
The
How
book's
much is it?
cost is I think 350. The cost of the book, if there's some
Okay,
discount going on, it may be lesser also. I do not know the
okay,
charges for shipping to Mauritius. Probably I will find it and let you know. I'll ask the post
okay.
office and check.
Yeah,
Yes,
do let me know. Yeah.
yes, please. Yes, ji, yes, ji.
Okay,
Fine.
Suji.
Thank you, ji. Hari
Hari
Om.
Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Ji, will you